it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do the I messed up book tag. I was tagged by Maija from Maija Reads like ages ago. It was last summer and I'm only now getting to do this. I will link Maija's video down in the description, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, let's get started with the questions. First question, a character appearance that you misread and imagined differently. And this is actually a bit embarrassing because when I was reading Troll, a Love Story by Johanna Sinisalo, I did not realize the main character was a man until about halfway through the book when I was first reading it. Finnish has an almost completely gender neutral way of speaking. We have gender neutral pronouns, etc. So I could not pick up from the context that he was a man. I was quite young back then, and he had male lovers. So I kind of just assumed that he was a woman. And I was so shocked when it turned out that he was a man. And then it made me love the book even more because I was like, oh, there are people like me in the world. But you know, that was a huge like a mess up for me because I was like, eh. And also another one is the Grok from Tove Jansson's Moomin series. I did not know that that character is a female until I read the Swedish editions of the books. In the Finnish editions, I always just assumed that it was a gender neutral being or a male, and then turns out it was a she all along. But yeah, those are probably the biggest ones where I've messed up concerning character appearance or characterization. Question 2, a character name that you've been pronouncing wrong. I have quite a few for this one, mostly ones when I was younger. For example, Harry Potter, when I first read them, I read them in Finnish. So I would pronounce all the character names in a very Finnish way. For example, Draco Malfoy was Draco Malfoy. Hermione Granger was Hermione Granger. It's weird because I pronounced her surname correctly, but she was Hermione. Also Sirius Black, because his surname was translated into Musta. I pronounced his name like Sirius, which is a very Finnish way of pronouncing it. Another character whose name I pronounced wrong, and Patrick Rothfuss has been very adamant how it is correctly pronounced, is Quoth from the King Killer Chronicle. I, for the longest time, just pronounced his name Kvothe. Kvothe. Indeed. And, of course, a nostalgic favorite, Raislin Magier from the Dragonlance series. When I first started reading those books, I had finished taking some Spanish lessons. And for some reason, because that name didn't strike me up as English or whatnot, I pronounced it as Raislin Mahere. Go figure. Question 3, an overused trope that is your guilty pleasure. I'm really bad with tropes in general. I don't really pay too much attention to them unless they're done really poorly. But one of my guilty pleasure tropes is definitely the enemies to lovers. For example, in 20th Century Fox's Anastasia with Dimitri and Anya and stuff like that. I'm a sucker for that trope. And also all kinds of Beauty and the Beast type couples. I'm into those. And they are pretty overdone. Question 4. A cliché character type that you like better on screen than reading about. This is a tough one, but I would say that the bad boy with a heart of gold is more tolerable on the screen than it is in the book, because books tend to be longer, they take longer time to read and to consume, and you invest a lot more emotion and time into a book because it's more introspective. But movies are usually over quite quickly, so I would say that that character type is a type that I usually hate, but in movies I tolerate it. Question 5, a word slash phrase that you learned because of its use in a book. Oh, I have so many. I have learned so much English because of reading books. First is amiable. I have learned this from Jane Austen. Then there is magnanimous. I have learned this from fantasy. And also malevolent. There are so many, like very big words I've learned from books. Question 6. Have you ever not read or completed a required reading book for school? Moving on. Question 7. Have you ever skipped a chapter or wanted to from the point of view of a character that you weren't interested in? Yes. Originally, when I started reading A Song of Ice and Fire, I really could not wrap my head around Sansa or Cersei chapters. But after rereads, those are actually the chapters that I like the most, which is really interesting. But originally I was like, ugh, every time a Sansa or Cersei chapter would crop up in the books. And last question, question number 8. Have you ever cancelled social plans because you wanted to read a book? Yes, I have, but it's usually not because of that I want to read a book. It's usually because I have social anxiety and I can't attend a social event at that time. So I cancel it and then I calm myself and I relax by reading. So not necessarily straightforwardly cancelling social plans because I want to read a book, but those two kind of go hand in hand. If I cancel social plans, you usually find me on a couch reading. And there you have it. This has been the I Messed Up book tag. Thank you, Maija, for tagging me, and I'm sorry it took so long to get to this. And since this tag has been going around for a while, I'm not going to tag anyone specifically, but if you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged by me. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And I will see you in another video. Bye bye!